Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
I ski and I snowboard and I snowmobile.
And he also likes to save lives. Tonight we check out some new medical equipment at Billings Clinic and the doctor who comes with it. Plus, caught on camera. One Billings family expresses concern after Magic City drivers continually blow through school bus stop signs. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, Montana school superintendents not happy with the State Office of Public Instruction. In fact, AA superintendents condemned state leadership in a letter this week. Well, tonight we're hearing new comments from rural districts. These superintendents displeased with communication. Q2's Mitch Laggy joins us now with more.
School superintendents across the state of Montana have been voicing their dissent at how the Office of Public Instruction has been run since Elsie Arnson took over in 2017. Now we're aware of comments made by rural school districts in November condemning Arnson's leadership. 4 superintendents from the counties of Missoula, Butte, Silverbow, Wheatland, and Sweetgrass sent public comment to the State Board of Education before its November meeting. Their points parallel many made in a similar letter sent to the state agency by Montana's 8 AA school superintendents. Citing a 90% turnover rate at the Office of Public Instruction, the comment reads in part, "It has been a real challenge for our schools and administrators to deal with an understaffed, fragmented state agency. No replies to phone calls, no responses to emails."
It's a speedier process than it has been, for sure.
Superintendent Tom Moore of Great Falls Public Schools, a AA school district, said it's time for the state education office to work together with its local schools.
The superintendent of public instruction is an elected official. The only person that she really answers to are the people. The public, and we're stakeholders in this work together, and I think we tried to outline that in this letter, that we're supposed to be working together, not against one another, and it feels that way a little bit.
And Superintendent Greg Upham in Billings had the same thought and said this isn't about politics, but physical operations of public schools.
This is about the operation of the Office of Public Instruction and the deficiencies that we're dealing with in all of our areas, and they're sufficient enough for us to take action. And so our job is to educate our students, and anything that stands in the way of that, we need to fix. And so I've identified it, and we need to move forward and find solutions to get this work done.
We reached out to Arnson's office for comment, but haven't heard back as of Thursday. She did release a statement earlier this week saying that she humbly accepts the criticism and is working to further communications between the Office of Public Instruction and local schools. Reporting in Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
At 48th and Grand, it is right here where 11-year-old Ashton Walter waits for her bus to go to school. Despite living right next to a school zone where the speed limit is 35 miles per hour, cars behind me are flying past, going well over that limit. This problem has been going on for over a year now.
I didn't have good breath to do band, so I decided to just do it.
It's 7 a.m., and this is a part of 11-year-old Ashton Walter's daily routine.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, so is this.
People don't like to slow down on Grand Avenue, and they'll drive right through the bus.
The Walters have experienced this issue for over a year now, one vehicle after another, speeding past their driveway, and even their daughter's school bus. A bus with its stop sign clearly extended.
It's frustrating. You'd hate to see somebody hit the bus as my daughter was getting on the bus.
And it's a problem that's not unique to this neighborhood.
It's a nationwide problem for sure.
Keith Adams is the transportation director for Billings Public Schools. He says the district is aware this is happening in neighborhoods throughout Billings.
It's something that motorists either don't care about or just don't notice or don't take seriously.
But cracking down on it is easier said than done. Adams says bus drivers with First Student routinely report incidents like this, and that gets handed over to police. But for a citation to be issued, law enforcement has to catch the careless driver in the act themselves.
My wife has contacted, I think, the city, the bus department, in the sheriff's office and stuff. The sheriff's office was supposed to try to send someone out to kind of watch, and I don't know if they've done it yet or not.
And Brandon Walter worries it's only a matter of time until a child gets hurt or even worse.
With all the schools, it's a big concern. Nobody probably wants their child hit or have an accident.
Especially in the winter, when roads are already slick. In Billings, Alina Howder, MTN News.
Remember, it's against the law to pass a school bus with its stopping arm out. A few Montana districts have installed cameras on their buses to capture video proof of drivers breaking the law. However, as an MTN investigation uncovered last year, that led to very few citations. Police have to be able to clearly identify who was driving the vehicle at the time. Now, lawmakers shot down a bill in the 2019 Montana legislative session that would have allowed districts to use video recordings as evidence.
That cold front that moved through last evening brought a little bit of snow. We had a report of about an inch around Hysham, 1 to 2 inches into northern Wyoming, especially down into Sheridan County, Wyoming. And that brings enough snow in to cause some slippery conditions. Here's Trooper Wyatt Duncan from the Montana Highway Patrol. I've watched this thing about 4 or 5 times, and every time it still hurts once he starts to take a spill. But we're going to see wind start to dominate the weather instead of snow as we get into the next 48 hours, especially strong winds going back in around the Livingston Big Timber area. And we could see snow in northwest Montana, the higher elevations, perhaps 1 to 2 feet of accumulation. More on the forecast coming up.
Billings is known for a strong medical corridor and services. Well, that includes new 3D technology that can literally help doctors see into the brain. Now, that draw doesn't just entice future families to move here. It also brings some of the brightest minds to Montana to carry out that care.
This is essentially a side view of the skull. And so we can move these planes around to get a perfect view to use to navigate the blood vessels.
Dr. Vance Fredrickson is very comfortable making his way around the new biplane angiography suite at Billings Clinic.
So this allows for treatment of diseases in the blood vessels in the brain.
This technology already getting good use, performing a long list of neurovascular procedures when time matters.
So with the 2 planes of view, we can safely navigate using little microcatheters and wires. And the blood vessels are very complicated, and they have a lot of loops and turns.
Fredrickson has been in Billings for just 6 months. His path to get here about as complicated as those blood vessels.
I was an engineer for a year, and I worked for Hewlett Packard in Fort Collins, Colorado.
This after starting college at age 16.
I saw a lot of similarities actually between engineering and various forms of surgery.
So medical school, residency, and 2 fellowships, taking him all across the country, landing here.
I love Billings, yeah. I actually really like the cold and the snow.
But the snow and the 3D technology aren't the only draws to Billings.
We have many fellowship-trained physicians.
It's also the strength behind the cerebrovascular team at Billings Clinic.
There are patients from all over the region that were getting sent out of state that never landed here. And so I think we have the potential to help several hundreds of patients a year with this technology, and they can stay close to home.
And close to the snow. If you're looking for more positive news, we've got a newscast just for you, highlighting all of the good things happening across Montana. It airs Saturdays and Sundays on our Q2 streaming app, and you can also find those stories anytime on demand at ktvq.com. Still to come on the MTN 530 News here on Q2, the Department of Revenue is feverishly putting the finishing touches on recreational marijuana regulations before the calendar flips to 2022. We'll have the latest.